Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to this very sudden episode of Figure News. I was working on my pre-order roundup video, which will be out in a few days, but I just totally forgot that, oh shit, it's time for Anime Expo, which means that Good Smile Company was going to reveal a bunch of figure announcements this weekend. You might have missed it because it wasn't really advertised in that many places, but it is in fact happening right now, and I'm just going to go through everything on Twitter. There isn't a gallery for me to use, so bear with me. I'm just going to go through my Twitter feed and show you guys everything that they have to offer this time. So starting at the very beginning was Valentine from Skullgirls. Now, I don't think it needs to be stated that the Skullgirls designs are excellent, so it's great that we're finally getting more figures from this series. Now, if you ask me, I think it looks a little funny when nendoroids have big boobs, but the sculpt of this nendoroid does look very nice. I mean, she's one of the classic Skullgirls characters. It's great that they went with her. I'm sure this is going to look amazing painted, so I am looking forward to seeing more of this and what she will actually come with. But then, like, right after, we got a pretty big announcement, maybe not for everybody, but we're finally getting Mob Psycho stuff. Now, these are the pop-up parades for Mob and Reagan. They are in fact making both of them, and while I'm not the biggest pop-up parade fan, it's great to see that they're actually finally making something for this series. I don't know how it took the industry so many years to finally give us something from Mob Psycho 100, but I'm glad that it's finally happening, and I think these two honestly fit the pop-up parade line really well. Like, they're pretty simplistic character designs, not to take anything away from them, it's just the way they're drawn, the way they're colored in. Like, it doesn't really need to be the most detailed figure, so for them to just make a pop-up parade for these two makes a lot of sense. And when I think about it, Reagan did get a Union Creative figure, which is pretty hard to find at this point, but considering Union Creative isn't the best company out there, like, this might even be better than that. I guess we'll see, but it's still very cool that these are happening. And if pop-up parades aren't your thing, they're also making nendoroids for both of them. Now, we don't know their accessories, of course, but if I'm being honest, as long as these aren't very expensive, they're gonna fly off the shelves. People are gonna eat these up. These just really needed to be made, and I'm really happy that they're finally doing it. I think Mob, more so than the pop-up parade, is the perfect character to make into a nendoroid. He just looks so cute in the nendoroid form. And Reagan, surprisingly does look really good as well. Like, there's nothing wrong with the translation here. I think he looks pretty funny in this little chibi form. And I'm excited to see his faceplates. I'm sure both of them are going to have some really good faceplates. But, it's just the fact that this is finally happening that's making me happy. Hopefully they deliver on these two, because really, this was a long time coming. So next up were some Shaman King nendoroids, which I believe were just updates. I think these were announced previously. But first up was Anna, who I honestly am not loving yet. I think I'll need to see her painted first. I'm just not really, in love with this for some reason. I couldn't really tell you why. I just don't really like the first faceplate she has here. I think this is just some weird personal issue of mine. I'm sure it's going to look good because the other one that they showed off, Hao, I think Hao looks fantastic. Like, he looks exactly like I would have imagined him to look in a nendoroid form, so I don't know what it is about Anna, but at least Hao is looking good. I would say ignore my opinion on Anna for now because I can't really put my finger on it. So Cobra the Space Pirate is getting a pop-up parade, which I think is cool to see. I've never watched or read this series, but there's something about him and the series itself that just feels so, classic anime. And I don't even know if there's something happening with the Cobra series, in recent times. But I think it's cool to make, these old school characters into figures. And on top of Cobra, we're also getting Lady in a pop-up parade. Now, these aren't the first time these characters are getting figures, but it is good to see more options for these two. Because, again, unless I'm wrong, I don't really think we get a lot of opportunities for Cobra to grow, especially in, the West. I don't know, maybe I'm just completely wrong on this, but I never really hear about this series. But I like it when old school stuff gets figures, so I think they look good, and I'm happy that they're making them. Now, I believe this was old news, but it wasn't formally announced by Good Smile Company themselves, but they're also making pop-up parades for everybody in Spy Family, or at least the main three characters, Anya, Lloyd, and Yor. Now, I gotta imagine, right, that there's gonna be a ton of figures for Spy Family. There's already a lot for Anya, and we're starting to see more of Yor and Lloyd, so I don't know if a pop-up parade is the most exciting announcement. We know they're gonna get, better stuff, bigger scales, things like that. But if you're into pop-up parades, I gotta imagine this is a pretty exciting announcement, just not personally for me. Thanatos from Hades was painted, and he looks pretty good. The gold paint used here looks excellent, and it works really well with the skin tone and hair. Like, I don't know what it is, but all of these colors are just coming together so well on this little nendoroid. I'm kind of impressed. I think it looks a little bit better than Zagreus in my opinion, but I really do want to know what he comes with, so I'm looking forward to finding out more about this guy. And we're also getting a pop-up parade for Zagreus. Now, unlike the Spy Family figures, I feel like Zagreus isn't really going to get a lot of opportunities for scale figures. So this, on the other hand, is much more interesting to me, and I think it's coming out pretty well. I believe this is based on artwork, like this is the exact pose from a certain piece of artwork. I don't have that on me, maybe I'll add it in post, but it looks as it should in my opinion, but this is unpainted of course. The paint is definitely going to be really important here, and considering how unique the art style of Hades is, I am a little bit concerned in how the final product will come out, considering this is only going to be like a $40 figure. But I do hope they manage to make it look solid, because I think a lot of people are going to buy this, so hopefully they do deliver on him. So the Figma for Empress from Black Rock Shooter Dawnfall got updated, and I'm going to be honest, just being completely blunt here, I feel like this is the least interesting announcement of the event. I'm not really trying to throw shade at Black Rock Shooter, though I'm not the biggest fan of this like redesign. I just feel like there's been a lot of more interesting things shown so far that this one kind of falls a little bit flat in my opinion, but I guess we had to find out about it eventually. As it stands, it looks fine. Like, the pistol is very boring, but I hope she comes with like her arm cannon. I've seen that in the Nendoroid and it looks really cool, so I'm assuming this figure of her will come with it as well. But yeah, I'm just keeping it honest, I really just don't care about this, I'm sorry. This was a pretty cool announcement on the other hand. We got Street Fighter pop-up parades for ChunLi and Cami. Now, I wish I could say I love this, but I feel like her face is just not accurate to like any artwork of Chun-Li that I like or in-game model, and I feel like that's a big problem with Capcom figures, specifically the fighting game division. I just never feel like they actually properly portray these characters in figure form. That being said, it is a pop-up parade, my expectations aren't that high, and for a $40 figure, I think the shading and the paint on this one actually looks really good, and the pose is solid as well. Like, I still like this to a degree, I just don't love it, unfortunately. I hope they touch up the face a little bit, because I'm not exactly sure what kind of art style they're going for. The face just looks a little bit too round, the eyes don't look like Chun-Li's eyes. Like, I don't know, I want to love this, but I just think it's pretty good. But Cami, on the other hand, I feel like looks a little bit better. Maybe it's just because it's unpainted and I have to fill in the blanks myself. But I like her pose, I like the way her hair is kind of like blowing to the side, and I think her face is a little bit more accurate to like what I'm used to seeing from Cami. Either way, I think I'm just happy that they have the Street Fighter license. Like, I hope they continue to do more with this. They don't just stop at Cami. I mean, they skipped Ryu, so I gotta imagine he's coming. Maybe they'll do a Ken. I hope they do M. Bison. I really like Bison. But there's so many characters they could make, like Juri, for instance. I don't feel like Juri has a lot of good figures. She certainly has a lot of them, but again, I don't feel like they ever look like Juri does in the video games. So I'm kind of hoping she gets another chance at that. Again, I'm just happy this is happening. Let's move on. So this was a pretty cool announcement for me as well. Cuphead and Mugman are getting nendoroids. Now, they're not really shy from getting merchandise. They have so many toys and figures on the market, but I like seeing Good Smile Company take a crack at these Western IPs, and Cuphead is phenomenal. I haven't played the last course yet. It just came out, give me a break, but these two, I hope, turn out good. My only concern is if they kind of modify the bodies a little bit to fit the nendoroid form, and don't give them a specific, you know, like unique sculpt to fit their body proportions. It was my main issue with Papyrus and Sans, if you remember those two. Like, those two looked fine at first, but then when you thought about it a little bit, especially Sans, like the proportions were just slightly off, and it just didn't really work out in the end. So I hope these two don't have that issue, because I would love to get them if they weren't very expensive. You never really know these days, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I would love to get these two. Okay, weird timing. We also have Undyne from Undertale, and you know what? I think she looks fantastic, a lot better than Sans and Papyrus in my opinion. Maybe it's just because she's in a suit of armor, but I really think they nailed her face, and there's nothing uncanny about it. You know, she was shrunken down so much that you don't even think about how she originally looked like Sans. They completely avoided that issue with her, and I think she looks great. Really love those like asymmetrical goofy ass teeth, and the spear that she comes with looks pretty cool as well. I like this one. So this has got to be the most random and surprising announcement of the event. I mean, Slime Rancher 2 getting a Nendoroid is not something that would be on anybody's bingo sheet, but they are in fact making Beatrix from the series. I've never played it, so I don't really have anything to say here, and there's not even a figure to see, but I always go on about like obscure characters getting figures, and I gotta imagine that Slime Rancher 2 is pretty obscure. I mean, I know it's like a newish indie game, but as far as like a Nendoroid goes, this would be something that no one would expect. So in my opinion, it matches that description, and I think it's cool. So these are also kind of surprising announcements, but not really something I think is very cool. Cyberpunk Edgerunners Lucy and David Martinez are getting Nendoroids, and I gotta imagine this is just like a tie-in deal. Trigger is very close with Good Smile Company, I believe. But if I'm being honest, I would much rather have other Trigger characters get Nendoroids or figures. So yes, I'm a little bit salty because I don't really care about this, but if you do, that's cool. Hopefully this show is good. I don't even think it aired yet. So yeah, good, I guess. Shovel Knight was painted and he is looking clean. Like, I really like the way they kind of like mixed a bit of matte finish, a bit of sheen on the armor pieces, and the gold around like the armor trim looks really solid as well. Only get to see his shovel. I really want to know what else he comes with, but so far I'm really liking the color palette of this guy. Very vibrant, and it looks pretty model accurate in my opinion, you know, to the game, not so much the artwork, but I like it, so that's not an issue at all. Fits the Nendoroid form perfectly in my opinion if you think of it that way. This one's great, loving it. Shantae also got her Nendoroid shown off, unfortunately not painted, but she's looking adorable. I'm actually pretty excited about this one. I may pick this up as well. I'm trying to not buy too many Nendoroids, which is a problem when you keep looking at Nendoroids, especially when they're made at such a pace. But, you know, Shantae doesn't really get opportunities for figures, so I'm loving that they're making this. I really wonder what her accessories are going to be, though. Like, are they going to go the Pirate's Curse route and give her weapons from that game? Or is she going to have, like, little animals to kind of act as her transformations? I have no idea. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this one as well. I feel like this event is pretty good if you're a Nendoroid fan. Like, it's not the typical kind of stuff. Maybe it's just because there's a lot of Western pandering here, but, I mean, hey, I'm from America, so I like it. Let's move on. This one's pretty surprising, too. Amores Basil is getting a Nendoroid. Now, I haven't played this yet. I've had a friend telling me to play it over and over. We'll get to it at some point. I'm sure it's very good. But, you know, I've never seen this character before. I've seen a lot of other characters from this game, but as someone who hasn't played it yet, kind of assumed they would make someone else first, but considering that this post has 5,000 likes at the point of making this video, I gotta imagine this is a pretty exciting announcement for a lot of people, so I'm happy for you guys. I just have no idea who this character is, so I can't share that excitement, but I can be happy for you guys. So this is a white recolor of the original Journey pop-up parade, but if you ask me, I think this color palette looks way better. You know, despite loving red, like red is my favorite color, I just think this one looks a lot better. Like, maybe it's just like the pattern throughout the cloak. It just looks so good. And I don't know, the gold and the white kind of complement each other really nicely. I think this looks really solid. And if you want to know more about this pop-up parade, just look up reviews of the original one just to kind of get an idea of what the final product will look like. But yeah, I think this one actually looks better, which is pretty uncommon for a recolor in my opinion. So the only thing I really want to talk about here is where is his cloak? Like, he should have some kind of cape or cloak, whatever it is, and it's just not here in this image. It made me think this was a different character at first, but it is Rido, and I feel like you have to have that cloak. Like, if he doesn't have it, it just doesn't look like him in my opinion. Otherwise, it's an unpainted Figma, and he looks cool. It looks like they're capturing the style of SMT really nicely, but where's that cloak, man? I need that cloak, I need that cape, whatever you want to call it. It needs to be here. I hope it shows up. Otherwise, looks solid so far. So we had Mickey Mouse plenty of times, we got Donald Duck recently, and now we're getting Goofy. So the gang's all here. Great to see him in Nendoroid form. Not really something I'm gonna buy, if I'm being honest. Just don't really have a desire to spend whatever amount of money they're gonna ask for this, but he does look cute. You know Goofy, you probably know if you want this. You don't even need my opinion of it, but there you go, they're making him. I don't know about this one though. Lightyear's Buzz Lightyear, so the newest movie that Buzz Lightyear is in, but that movie is based off of a movie that was in the original Toy Story movie, and the Buzz Lightyear from the original Toy Story is supposed to be based off of this movie, but they don't look the same, so now it's just confusing that they're making a toy of this, and I don't think it looks particularly nice. Like, the colors are muted because it's supposed to be more realistic. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's really weird that they're making toys for this specific movie. But whatever, like, I still haven't seen it yet, so maybe I would love that movie, but who knows. So maybe I would like this if I saw Lightyear, but, you know, just looking at this as a toy, I don't really like it. Okay, so I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't see this before making this video, but this actually made me genuinely happy. Like, this is my favorite announcement from the event so far. I haven't really seen a lot past this, though, so maybe there's something better. But they're making Jill from Valhalla. Now, if you watch any of my older videos, I use music from this game all the time. It's a really great game. If you're into, like, visual novel stuff, you would probably really jive with this one, and Jill is fantastic. I love her. I have her plushie, and if this looks good, I'm probably gonna buy it as well. Too many nendoroids are being shown off at this event that I actually like. It's making it really hard to not buy nendoroids, but these are characters that don't get merchandise otherwise. So I'm really happy that they're making this. I mean, it's Jill from freaking Valhalla. It's got like 3,000 likes. Plenty of people are definitely looking forward to this. And I love it when they do these obscure characters. So this is just wonderful. I love this. Okay, so we're moving on to a Niji Sanji VTuber Vox Akuma. No idea who this is. Maybe you guys know. He's got 7,000 likes on the page, so he must be pretty popular. Though I'm sure like any VTuber getting a figure is a pretty exciting announcement for their fans. So yeah. More stuff from Niji Sanji is great because I feel like it's a lot less represented than Hololive, even if I'm particularly not into Niji Sanji. But yeah, moving on. Barbie Nendoroid. It doesn't really look like Barbie, which is sometimes an issue specifically with the Western Nendoroids. Like, it just looks like girl in anime art style. I don't know, like, maybe you guys, if you're Barbie fans, disagree with me, but this could just be like a Disney princess kind of Nendoroid for all I know, and I wouldn't be surprised like it was just like a movie I missed. Weird choice, but maybe it'll sell well to the right demographic, I'm not sure. Man, this one's weird too. Freaking Ladybug. Like, how long has this series been going on? I remember when it used to be a 2D show, and then it got changed into a 3D animation. Nothing to talk about, it's just an art card, and it's not even like stylized like Barbie, so this could look like anything for all I know. So let's keep moving on. Figma Ruby, was this not announced already? I feel like there's a lot of Ruby stuff coming lately, so this is not surprising to me, but maybe it is a new announcement. Maybe I'm getting them confused with like pop-up parades or something. Either way, cool if you collect Figma and are into the Ruby series, because they're also making a Figma for Wise or Weiss. I don't know how you say this character's name. I'm sorry, I don't watch Ruby. Please forgive me, but, you know, another Figma from the series is cool for you guys. Happy for you. Maybe this is what I was thinking of earlier, Papa Parade Ruby Rose in like this snowboard gear, which I gotta be honest, I kind of like more than her other outfit. As someone who doesn't watch the show and as someone who likes winter attire, I think it looks cute. Yeah, another Papa Parade for Ruby's Wise. This one actually is probably my favorite of the 4 we've seen so far. I just love this like, I don't know, military commander looking outfit. Don't know anything about it, but she does look pretty in it. Alright, and because I don't really have anything left to say about Ruby, they're also making pop-up parades for Blake and Yang, so I think that's the whole gang. If you're into pop-up parades and Ruby, this is probably pretty exciting for you, but not for me. I will say I like Yang's design normally at least, so I think she's the coolest of the 4, but that's all I got. So I believe we're at the end here. There might be more tonight, or maybe tomorrow at the panel, but we're gonna end it off with Hololive. So Gura and Mori both got their pop-up parades shown off, and you know what? For pop-up parades, I think they look pretty good. They're probably gonna cost a bit more than usual, as Hololive pop-up parades typically do. But if I could be honest, I think they both look great. I'm particularly more fond of Gura's sculpt than Mori's. I just feel like there's a bit more energy in it. It looks a little bit cuter. There's nothing wrong with Mori's. I just feel like it's a little bit more basic, if I'm being honest, but definitely not bad by any means. I'm sure when these two are painted, they're gonna look like 10 times as good as they do right now, so just look forward to that in the future whenever that happens. Every girl in Holomyth is also getting a Nendoroid, which is great to go along with Gura, and I believe there's also Figma for every girl in Holomyth as well. And all I can think about is how expensive Ina is gonna be, because Jesus, if they actually do like every single tentacle on that Figma, that thing's gonna cost like nearing 20,000 yen. I mean, it has to. There's just gonna be so much plastic there, but it's probably gonna look the best of every girl, if I'm being honest. But I believe that is it for the event. I think for now, that's everything. So hopefully you guys found something you liked. I thought it was a pretty good event, despite not really having any proper scale figures. I don't think there was any, actually. And as a scale collector, that's a bit of a bummer, but as far as Nendoroids go, they were pretty good this time around. A lot of unique stuff that I didn't think they would be made, a lot of updates that I was looking forward to, and you know, for a little event like this, I think they brought some solid stuff. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, it helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.